Hey people, I think my channel's back up. One of my old strikes had expired, so they only knocked it down to a week when it expired. But I've been posting some stuff on my backup channel. I'm going to try to get it growing because they'll never let me monetize this channel. This book of Job 11 is the easiest one I've read yet. I'm gonna read the whole 20 lines here and you're going to get it all. But it's talking about the precession of equinox. This is what our earth looks like. As we're going in this motion around the sun, our pole is pointing in an opposite direction to the stars. And so it causes, as the side rises, it causes an age. That's how we mark our age, is to the side, rising up to an age. And the age is when it gets to the crossing point. This is our North Star here, and everything's spinning around it. In prior ages, it was back here. And like I say, it was all the way back here in the tail in the age of Gemini, when the first book of Genesis is written. And so this circle, makes it around this big serpent. The serpent's in the middle of the circle. And this is our Z axis right here. We're spinning around, and we're spinning around, they said, every 25,700 years, or maybe even 29,000 if it's, 72 years per degree. But our North Pole, is moving in this direction as we're going around the sun the other way. It steps back 1 degree every 72 years. If you look up at the North Star, everything is rotating around it. It's our polar, this is our celestial axis. This is where everything's spinning around here. But our z-axis is over here. All those stars are spinning around this point here on the celestial axis. But this is our z-axis over here in the middle of the serpent. And that's lined up here with, our north ecliptic pole. This is our celestial pole we look up and we're spinning on. But this is the ecliptic pole that's always looking at the center of that circle that's going around in our precession. In a celestial reference plane, the z-axis is toward the north ecliptic pole. The z-axis is straight up. This is the ecliptic pole. This is our celestial pole. And so that's the phi. And so it says, to Tamar, the Z give of phi. And so it's telling you that's how they keep up with the time. They know that this is changing. And so writing about these stars, it's telling the ages. So that precessional tilt is what causes this wave here. And so whichever direction that tilt is going to be this highest spot that we see in this wave. Wherever it's tilting away from, there's going to be more distance between the pole and these stars now. And so they're going to be lower. And so the age is marked here at this crossing, at the Easter crossing. And so this is going to, when they start describing the position of these stars, this tells us the ages. And that's how we can date the Bible. And so this is where our crossing is now. Back in the age of Adam, this crossing was here. This was just lower. This wave was coming up here. And so this was at the crossing. And then in time of Noah's flood, you can tell when the flood was, it's during this big river. And what this river is, this is the galactic. And this is where there's a lot of extra stars and masses and planets. And so when you get in this time, all of these planets have a pull, but also our sun and all our planets are also pulling. And so we have a lot more pull. And so that's probably what causes the flood. And then came, the age of Taurus. The age of Noah after the flood. And then came the age of Aries, the age of Moses. Then the age of Pisces is the time of Jesus. And then this age of Aquarius is marked by water. But the next time we go through this galactic, this galactic is this big loop. This is the river of the Milky Way. This is where the mass of the masses are. And it's marked by this ancient river. And so, in this age here of the Scorpio, it looks like we go through a mass change too. It's on the bottom side of this river. But this is how they mark the ages, by telling which stars are crossing at this point here. And so this is the age we're in now. And it's going to tell us a secret here of the age of the pyramids. And it's going to talk about the age of the crab in here. So this reads Ancient English, Old English, and it's to ionosphere, the nomadi to yammer. So a nome is ancient Greek word for one of 36 territorial divisions of ancient Egypt. Nomes comes from Greek. So the reason for 36 divisions, there's 10 degrees per division. 10, 20, 30 degrees per each sign. And so that's going to give you 36 divisions of 10 degrees each. And over here at Wiki at Actual Precession, I come down here to watch this spin to explain this. Underneath nomenclature here, it explains the precession, but you don't have a definition to nomenclature and why this is under nomenclature. But nomenclature is the devising or choosing of names for things, especially in a science or other discipline. They're being named for a reason, and there's a reason for every letter in every word. And this Hebrew word for Egypt gives us the other clue. It's MXRIS, from its rise, from cross rise. This to ionosphere, is to make, Vav Yod, to make on its TSPR, to make on its sphere the nome tie to yammer, to make knowledge from begin, not necessarily to talk, but to make the nome tie, so which nome it is. To make on its sphere the nome tie to yammer. So this is going to tell us how to read the ages. So if this is your first movie with me, everything that starts with an A, I read it backwards. This isn't AIS, this is SIA. And everything after this tack, I read it backwards and forwards. So it's SIAJS. The I is the I, Y, or J. The Vav is the W, the U, or the V, or the and, or connected, or to. And so this is herein. And all these letters have word meanings. You can look up ancient Phoenician letter meaning chart. It'll tell you the meaning of all these letters, because this is written like a shorthand. And so here endeavor is lay one. And as C ages, spot is its side of. See the ages, its spot is its side of. Wherever the North Pole is pointing, is directing the X, the cross from its rise. The march, MARX, the marks, is going to direct 90 degrees off of wherever the North Pole is pointing. Indict from time, each rise to. What log wane from cause? Indict and to dictate from time. Each rise, each EACH is each life, but ICH is each work. Each rise, each one rise to what log? Log, Greek word for ratio. What log? You log the points, and and it gives you a ratio. What log vein, is emptying? What log is emptying from cause? And Tamer, what knowledge from first? Z give of phi. Z is your ecliptic axis, and of phi is the distance between the ecliptic axis and the celestial axis. And I went into that deeper in that last movie. And so what knowledge from first? What Tamer Z give of phi? Of first they at tie in seeing fold. It's telling first, to learn the z-axis and the phi angle, the 24 degrees in there, and that gives you, your polar circle around the z-axis. Of first, UV of first they at tie in seeing fold, in seeing the give. What fold? 3 plus 4 fold 7. Vowels minute it in. The vowels connect the knowledge to bind from is the vowels, and it looks like a big clock, all that's turning around. And vowels the minute in. Who will dibber to make patch spit to omic? Who will dibber? What you're seeing in the skies is who will dibber. Who dibber means to change the language. To dibber. To change the language, who patch the spot to omic. Omic means to study, and the spot to study. Who will path the spot to study. And then when I get to this line like this, I read everything backwards. And so after this word reads backwards and forwards, and it's KLK, it's clock. And then I hit the mirror and read all this backwards to the last punctuation. And so who good clock? College to. Who good clock? College, college, to bring together. What toll from what check 'em? Give my lip couple is, let us see, and do give, this is the lock, who will monkey from see when fold. When you figure this out, you got the key, the monkey, the onk, the monk, the onk, the monkey. Who will monkey? Each for who will times from add till cut clit side times. You're adding the times on one side and you're cutting the times on the other side. And so from our evolution of the language, it tells me, that this is the feminine side, because this is the clit is the word that I use for your sister-in-law in Deuteronomy. And so each for who times from add till cut the clit side times. And so you're adding time to one side and you're cutting it off the other side. Give they some ism. And so a final M reads as an S. In order for a word to finish with the M sound, it'll have an E come after it, like this. And so this has got split meanings, but to give them some ism. A ism is a religious belief. An ism. And so give them same is me. To give they same as me, to give them like God, to give they some ism. Eloped. So ism eloped. You'll read over here. To give some ism eloped, to married top all. TPOL. LOPTPOL. Give they some ism. Elope top all, to married top all, top allum fee, of the higher than allum's fee. From Sheol me audit do. From Sheol me audit do, O-D-T do, to count it up. And so from Sheol, sometimes in the Bible they'll say this is hell. And a lot of people say Sheol is heaven. It's the place you go after you die. But in the book of Amos, Sheol is a place of creation. Sheol is not deeper. Sheol is shallow waters up in the bay, and it's where all the wildlife comes to breed and to feed. And you look in the book of Amos, you'll see, the Sheol is a you can see all the life in the still picture. And it means, a place of creation. To give top allum fee, from Sheol me audit do. So, these two lines here, each for who will times from add till clit side times. So each sign comes into the clit. This is the opening. It comes in, and being this cross is moving this way, this is the going out. And so when it came in, this cross was over here, and it was coming in the clit, and then it's going out. And so give them same as me, give they some ism, make them give them some ism, make them the Son of God. Give they some ism, elope the top all, elope top allum fee, to marriage top allum fee. From Sheol me audit do, from heaven me audit do. I will do the auditing. So we're now in the age of Aquarius, and 2 years ago we got the sign. So just over 2 years ago, just before the Christchurch massacre, this picture was taken by somebody in the know with these 14 fish. And so 14 fish is a secret code. The fish is the N, but the 14 is also the N. You have Yod, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And so it actually says fish, fish. And so this is your ancient letter N. It meant the cycle of waters. Cycle of waters. Ancient N. And 2 of them is the sign of Aquarius. And that's what he was doing. He was called in for a new martyr. Hey, it's time for a new martyr. It's the age of Aquarius. Give they some ism, elope top allum fee. From Sheol me audit do. Down south we say from Sheol means show will. From Sheol will me audit do. And this is backwards. It looks like ark. And you see a lot in Noah's Ark, and they'll say it means in the length. But it actually reads backwards. People that didn't know, they was reading this. And it's the care. The care marks made where have many miss. I took care in making my marks in auditing the heavens. I took care and I got accurate marks made where have many missed, backwards and forwards. So this isn't an I-M, it's a M-I-S. Where many miss. From appeal I help vestiger. Who phylum I is sieving to. From appeal is to reverse. From appeal. From reverse I help vestiger, the facer. Who phylum I is sieving to. Who phylum, that sounds like somebody who's trying to break out of jail. who phylum I is seeving to. Give of who Yod Almighty Ashu, who ran waving, we'll lay it tab win. No, give of who hand see. Give of who hand see mighty. Ashu. Ashu is the Son of God when he sneezed and created all the stars. Ashu. Who ran waving, to lay it tab, lay it tabs, to keep tabs on, I got a little notebook and I'm keeping tabs on you. To lay it tab, win, WNN. Keeping up with the winds. And age is never in Illivan. To air pyramid age wield. And to ages never in, NVU, never in, empty headed, just never in. Ill of in, ill means less of in. And age is never in, less of in. To air, this is, and when a colt of a wild donkey, an air. To air, and then para backwards, mid day wield. And so pair, open the first knowledge to pair things up from day wield. And to the age is never in lesson to air. Pair 'em to pair from day wield. And so pair, pair is the fraction on top of the gnomes. The gnomes sit on top of the pair. The pair from day wield. From the Tate, the kind what lab give. Oppressed who lock pick. And so this is an astrolab. You don't have to say astro because you're talking about the stars here. And that's the only kind of lab you use with stars. So from the Tate, the kind what lab give, oppressed who lock pick. The ones who picked the lock, they were oppressed by the ones who had the lab. This astrolab is like a slide rule. It's a little mini computer, and they say magicians carried them because they could figure out just about anything. They could figure out compound interest on here. Man waving in handkerchief, few. To old necks tasking in the like owl. The man waving backwards and forwards. And ID is the hand, the bid is whatever you have in your hand. In yod, in hand K ERCH, in handkerchief CHIF. The man waving in handkerchief you. To old necks tasking be like owls. And you put it far away. If you're surveying, you have a man on top of the mountain over there waving a handkerchief so you can see far away in the handkerchief view. To the old, this is like OL apostrophe, The OL is the ALL and the AL is the OL. To the old next task, and you when you're shooting the stars, you're tasking your neck to be like the owls, that turn their head all the way around. Give Zaza. This reads backwards and forwards, Z-A-Z. and then the wall, ZA again, to give Zaza Jack, JKTS, give Zaza Jackets a pin. Come from us. Give Zaza Jackets a pin. Come from us. So Zaza means, everybody belonging to the club, belong to all. Everybody in the club, give Zaza Jackets a pin. Come from us. Give them one of our pins, mark them. To they it mix of willeteers. Willeteers are those who are willing. Willeteers, willed here, like buccaneers, it's just a play on words, but they are the willeteers, and that's the tiers of the ones who will, the tiers of the pyramid. That's why everybody in the club gets their mark. All the Masons, they wear that ring so they can spot each other when they're in court. Give the Tatum of Tisk come is over what Zacher. Give the Tatum of Tisk. Tisk, a tisket and a tasket. A tisket is the string you tied around your finger to remember the task that you were supposed to do. And so give the Tatum of Tisk. The Tisk come is, to remember, to come is over what Zacher. And Zacher is the tool to give first. And so sometimes they say Zacher is the male, and sometimes they say it's to remember. But the tool to give first is probably your brain, and is to remember. To mixerize, if us held taupe, give before tea. And so, taupe is drunk. Taupe. But it's to mixerize, if us held. If we held a mix, the topic before. Buffer isn't the morning. Buffer is what smooths things out between. And so, buffer, BQR, buffer before is just a buffer between the hot sun, is where they get that from. But yeah, the K goes with the taupe here, topic. The topic, we're gonna if we have a mixer, a mixer rise, if we held a mixer, we're gonna get to the topic before the T. So the T is Long Island iced tea. So some of this is written like proverbs, and some of it, seems like it doesn't fit. But yeah, these are all one lines. None of this is written as a paragraph. And there's a method to the madness. But this is, of that kisses take few, which part loveth to shacking. The suck of us, the SKB. To shack, that's laying with a woman that's not your wife. Of that kisses take few, which part, when leaving, loveth to shacking. Whereof its set vein make rid, which looping crab is, and you would lie down whereof it set. The X is the TS, so whereof it ST set. Whereof it set vain, empty, make rid. And so H here, is you see how they pronounce it as a CH, make. And because the H is to divide, to make rid, it's to enforce, to let you know it means to get rid of it, get rid of the vein setting around, whereof it's set vain, empty, nothing to do, make rid. and it's the same way they write in Egyptian. Which circling crabs is? Which circling crabs? And so hopefully somebody that's more into astrology will explain to me what that means about Cancer, and maybe that's exactly what it means. Where of its set vein make rid, which looping crabs. Maybe crabs is an ancient word for Cancer. So the last one, if you made it this far, I'm going to read this two different ways. But it's to seeing, to the I-N-J, to seeing. To seeing first so is to decline. You just got home and wanting to recline. Women to side in amend this. To side, S-D-N-B-N, amend this. To amend, that's where your word amend come from. And they want to change this. And take what's mop, hasp, and push. Hasp, to grab a hold of and push. No, you ain't going to recline. You're going to take this mop and push it. But what it says, is to seeing first says it climb. Climb is not fail. Decline is to fail, to fall. But this is to climb. And so this is to rise. To seeing first says to climb, to rise. To minus side in amend this. What foot's the map has span push? What foot's the map has span push? What foot's the map has the span on it to push? There's the scale. And so this scale, it's not all that accurate, because we are not a flat earth. We're a round ball. They draw these maps flat, but when you go to pushing the scale, it's going to change. Miles are always miles over the land and over the water, but degrees, they're going to change distance between, depending on where you're at. So to seeing first so is to climb. To climb when rising. When rising or falling, either direction. To minus, to subtract. You're going to take away some. Throw in amend. Throw in DB. Throw in amend. This. What foots. WT. What foots. The map has span push. All of these, I've just read the top, but if you stop and you break down every letter to every word, you'll catch more meaning in these that you missed. And on this next one, I'm going to do this other chapter, chapter 20. And it read one way, but when I read it the other way, when I got to the last line, it told me to cut these in half. Cut these in half. And from the dad. So it read one way at first, and I couldn't believe it said what it said. And so I broke it down into every letter. And what it told me is to cut all these lines in half and get the word out of the middle of each sentence. And so I counted the letters out and found the middle, and then took the word that was in the middle. And so that's why, this all doesn't read in lines. Sometimes it seems worded funny, and it's because there's tricks like this all through the Bible that has another clue in it, another code in it. And so I'm going to get on that one. That one's a little bit longer. It's 29 lines, but it starts the same as this one's. It's the ionosphere, the nomadic to yammer, the nomades to make word, the gnome tie to make knowledge from begin. Alright, I'm gonna cut this off here. Good day.